All right, so I was thinking maybe like for this episode, we just need to focus on being a little bit funnier.
That's not in my contract, Sean, and you know that.
Sure. Sean, I've had like 3 hours sleep.
Yeah,
Right,
this
but-
fucking.
I don't know, I
You
just feel
don't
like-
pay us. You fucking all hours a night podcasting. I'm sick of it. I'm bloody sick of it.
I just feel like if we don't get at least a few listeners soon, then it's not going to be a really...
Were you saying something, Sean?
Yeah, you're right. You just went a bit blank.
Sean? What? Sean?
Sorry. Sorry. What was I saying?
You were talking
We need
about...
listeners.
Yeah,
We've been
listeners.
doing this for 2 years.
Like, I'm starving.
Okay,
like, the
so-
bread is running out, you know?
Right. So I was just saying, if we were able to just put it... Did you...
Sean, you keep trailing off.
Sean.
Did
Come
you guys
on.
hear that?
No.
Did you...
Hear what?
No, Sean.
You didn't hear that?
We were talking... We need to get listeners. Can you stay on track, please?
I think something bad's about to happen.
Baby beard!
Waited for you, Fry!
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad.
First get out into bustle, you're like, oh no!
I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learned anything.
Shut up and take
My?
podcast.
What?
What do you mean what?
I will
we
then,
literally
okay.
just went through the
That's
title.
what the name of the podcast is? That's what I'm doing?
I just wanted a noise to come after it, that's all. Sorry. Sorry.
The
you
noise
just-
is the following hour
All
of
right,
this
delete
podcast.
it and start again.
So, guys, happy anniversary. This is the 100th episode of Shut Up and Take My Podcast.
Clap it out, everyone. Good work. Good effort, team.
Now,
In other news, we're retiring now.
yeah, we're done. We're done.
Clap it out, everyone.
The end of podcasting. Finally, we are free.
So I'm going to attempt to remember my own format during this show. Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up and Take My Podcast side mission, where we deviate from our regularly scheduled program to give you something a little different because you're worth it. And it's because our 100th anniversary. I am joined here we go.
Wait, we've been doing this for 100 years?
100 years. That's what I said.
100th anniversary, yeah.
100th
yeah.
anniversary.
I get one brain aneurysm every episode. That was it.
That's 100 in total.
So I am joined here by Phil.
Oh, it looks like it's my turn to say something. And now my time is over.
By Elliot.
A life without a mustache is not a life worth living.
By James.
Hey, Lois, freaking sweet.
You're-
I've understood this podcast correctly, haven't
You're
I?
not allowed back on.
By Ellen.
Your lips, my lips, apocalypse. And we're
By
joined...
Nick.
Oh, sorry, I forgot Nick.
Hi, I'm calling this Shut Up and Index My Pods. It's a call for better archiving on the internet.
And
we're joined by Sean.
You're about to realize crossovers are hell. Both in a meta sense and what we're about to talk about.
And just in a logistical setting up the microphone sense, like this has been a spaghetti nightmare. So imagine how difficult it was for all the animators to organize their pens.
It's
Well, they're not
spaghetti
all-
nightmare.
Thankfully, they're
I think
not
that was a Guns N' Roses album.
spaghetti
I was
knives.
going to say, wasn't that the business we tried to start?
Wasn't that the Eminem part of the Eminem song? Spaghetti Nightmare. I don't know.
No.
But also, they're not sharing one fucking giant sheet of paper. You know that, right?
What?
When you're animating, you don't just have the one big sheet of paper.
No,
and
you've got your
everyone has to
Futurama
draw.
pens and you've got your
I thought it was like
Simpsons pens.
I thought
and
it
if
was
you
gonna be
mix them
like-
up...
Chaos.
I thought it was going to be like a long roll of butcher's paper where they all just drew and then they just rip it past the camera really quickly. Also,
They would do it live, but it's a terrible strain on the animator's hands.
I see.
What is that from?
Also, James, yes, we did try to start a business called Spaghetti Nightmare, but we got shut down by Creepypasta.
Oh, hell.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're following us so far, what we have done here today is we have decided to have a 6-person podcast. We have Mr. Elliot from the Simpsons Index. Hello, sir.
Hello, how are we?
We are tired.
we're here. So
And we have James and Nick from Pods in the Key of Springfield.
Pods in the Key of Springfield.
And this is like a deathmatch pod, right? Like it's 6 in, 1 out. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
PUBG format.
it's a fight to the death.
We've all
essentially.
dropped onto the table.
Yeah.
We all have to pick up a microphone and beat everyone else to death with it.
Well, lucky I've practiced my dance moves.
You've been practicing for a full fortnight.
Little BR reference.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, I've ruined any chance of anyone subscribing to us
Yeah,
after
fuck
this
this.
already.
I'm going down the pub. G.
I know.
These are the, this,
That was
know
such
who's
an
gonna
honourable thing you did of making a worse joke to save your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, this podcast has already hit its apex.
No!
Legends.
Just about. Damn it!
so this was a
a
situation
second
where Elliot, just to peel back the curtain a bit, Elliot, there's a bit of a kind of a miscommunication. I thought Elliot was suggesting we were doing a Simpsons Index that had the 6 of us. I'm like, yeah, cool. He can deal with the clusterfuck of 6 people. I don't have to. And then I was like, I thought it'd be good as a side mission. I'm like,
Fuck.
yeah, fuck it, let's do it. Fuck it, we do it live.
Yeah, I've got this ambitious idea for a triple crossover, and you guys are going to edit it.
And you know how Marvel had several fucking 18 films to plan for Infinity War,
Yeah.
and we've had
2
3
weeks.
coffees.
And so what we decided to do was the other mammoth crossover, which was Simpsorama, the Simpsons Futurama crossover, which was announced 2 days after the Simpsons Guy, the Simpsons Family Guy crossover episode, which I'm sure did just as well.
Wow.
I didn't know that they
What a
did
way-
that.
I've seen it. It's bad.
Yeah,
What a way
You
to-
didn't like it? I thought it, for a Family Guy, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, but that's a pretty...
That's a low bar.
That scale slides pretty far down.
Yeah.
It's like a pub in the Mariana Trench. It is a low bar.
So yes, this is the episode is Simpsorama. The director for this episode is Bob Anderson, who is the first for Shut Up and Take My Podcast. But as I've come to know,
Mr.
is
Anderson.
not a fucking first for The Simpsons.
No, many, many Simpsons episodes, especially the late era.
Now, you
You can
can
imagine what it's like if you do the research and you know who these people are.
Are you guys taking notes on this? Or?
do you want my book after this?
I've got some very strange notes
Okay.
about this episode. So, but I'm not taking any notes about how to make a good podcast.
I had a look at Bob Anderson, and it says he's like the last episode he did before this was Days of Future, which is like a future episode, but it's also a sequel to Holidays of Future Past, but it's also a sequel to another. It's like a string of episodes that are just Future Bart with like his ex Janet.
Gender, I think her name is.
Gender.
Yeah, so that relationship started in Future Drama in season 16, and then they did a duo of sort of Christmas-themed future episodes in the HD era, where, Days of Future Past and Days of Future whatever the fucking names are.
And Future Drama has Bender as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And
Which X-Men movie is that?
and
The good one.
And we reviewed that on my show a long, long time ago, and it got a unanimous failure because it is terrible.
Shame. Is gender conforming? Because that would be hilarious if when you have like an option to mark down your gender, you're just like, yes.
Oh, right.
Like whether you're like male, female, non-binary, and you're just like, yeah.
I am gender.
I am gender.
I am gender.
It's accurate.
And she's played by Amy Poehler, actually.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it a polarizing episode?
Stop this.
Is the whole recording going to be like this?
Yeah, I'm going to drag you fuckers down to my level.
Oh, Phil's dead.
Yeah.
Already lost the will to carry on. So it's a 5-person podcast.
Oh, that means soon we'll lose the Phil to carry on.
Okay,
Oh,
that
okay.
one was a stretch, and you fucking know it.
I feel pretty good
The
after stretch.
circle is getting smaller.
We'll have to borrow a filling from elsewhere.
Why do you encourage this? I get really annoyed because anytime I crack a pun, it's like I've committed a fucking atrocity and I should be flayed alive. But then everyone else's puns are like,
Because no one can pun except me.
It's funny when I do it.
The writer for this episode is J. Stewart Burns, who we both share. He's a prolific writer for both Simpsons and Futurama.
Yeah. BT, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, my co-host of the Simpsons Index. I said that like he's dead. He's alive.
He left for work a few minutes
Also,
ago.
a 7-person podcast? No.
But yeah, he's put that guy on our shit list because he's penned some fucking awful ones in the HD era. We can swear freely, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Oh, heck.
Phil, Gesture Burns did the Futurama game.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, that game was a lot.
Which you watched the cutscenes for, right?
Yes,
as
we
a
watched the
movie.
Lost episode, it's
Yeah.
called. Yeah, which was passable. It had a decent overall plot. Was lacking in a few kind of gaggy areas, yeah.
I think I enjoyed it more than you did.
Yeah. I didn't hate it, but
No.
it wasn't the best piece of Futurama media.
The intersplicing of the gameplay to kind of fill in the plot narrative was a bit fucking weird.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Play the game on another side mission. It'd be
exactly.
great. The air date for this episode, if I can see, where's my notes? There it is. November 9th, 2014. This is the final time that Futurama appears anywhere.
Wasn't there a podcast episode? By
Yeah, that's
Radiorama,
true. Yeah. It appears, though.
Visual form.
Yeah.
yeah.
Haha, I got you.
But then we kind of had to cancel Chris Hardwick, so I don't know if that still exists or
Yeah,
not.
he goes in the bin with all the other terrible men.
Yeah.
How far away is this episode from your birthday, Sean?
Birthday watch.
5 months and 1 day.
Or is it close to anyone else's birthday?
It's relatively close to our collective birthday.
You have a collective one?
So you are brothers.
we're both born on the same day.
A
What
year
is it?
apart, though.
A year apart. And we're
What's
both
your
wearing
star
blue
sign?
t-shirts. It's a bit weird. We're Sagittarii.
What's your birthday?
3rd of December.
Oh.
In some years. I had a moment where I was like, wait, do I want that information to be public? What's anyone going to do with my date of birth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they have your full name on the
1955 and
podcast?
1956.
We've outed our full names,
Yeah.
also our birthdays. Also, people know that
My
we
wife's
live in,
name.
We live in Adelaide and live in the same house, so they could probably do a lot with that information.
Yeah.
Here's how to dox all 6 of us.
Well, yeah, the 3 people who listen to us.
I think,
Yeah.
Hey, Diana.
I think with the
Sam, if
information
you
I've
came along
given
for
out,
this one.
I think with the information I've given out, people might be able to fill out 1/9 of a form. I've been pretty careful with what I've given out.
See,
but I can say 3rd of
the
December.
aim of this podcast is to eventually get our listeners to be our emergency contact.
To be clear, this is not Nick's real voice either. He's putting on a voice the entire time.
It's funny you
It
say that
actually
though,
sounds
because,
like this.
because there are some listeners who probably have a better idea of where I am and what I'm doing than members of my family.
That's fair. That's fair.
Does your family know you podcast?
No.
Okay.
No. It's kind of
And
like...
please don't tell them. Oh, God.
Yeah, no.
See,
I-
friends of mine who have never met you ask questions about you that are weirdly personal.
Is Nick okay? It's normally what they ask.
So this is going to be a rollicking time. Phil, can you do me a favor, please, and run down the plot of Simpsorama?
Yeah, sure.
Good luck, buddy.
I can do that. I can do the super short version.
Yes, let's do that.
This is the crossover episode where... No. Got it! Yay! So there's a time capsule that the elementary school in Springfield does where they all the kids chuck something in. A Bender appears in the past to kill Homer because they find his DNA in these horrid creatures that are destroying New York. It turns out the creatures are actually from Bart instead, which we discover when the rest of the crew come through. So they decide they have to kill Bart, but they
some
don't.
reason?
Instead, they all go to the future instead, capture the creatures, round them up, and shoot them into space. That's it.
That's it, isn't
That's
it?
it. Yeah, not that actually happens.
No.
Did they destroy the time capsule as well?
I don't think they do they?
No. What
No.
We literally just saw this episode, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's already...
The creatures, for sake of completeness, the creatures come from Bart's DNA in a sandwich, plus a rabbit's foot, plus ooze. That's
Well,
how
that
you
could be
get.
anything.
Oh, that's a
Ooze.
crucial bit of information I didn't see.
Yeah,
the
that's
rabbit's
how
foot.
you get.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how
I was
you get
wondering why it
goblins.
manifested into a rabbit.
Is
I
that
was
when you
really,
got coffee?
Yeah, no, I just think I tuned out.
I tried to give you an out. I really did try.
Look, that
plot
ship
is-
sailed a long time ago.
The plot is pretty simple. They all the Futurama guys go to the past. All the Simpsons guys go to the future. It's just really a kind of rough framework to make that happen.
So this is interesting because in Simpsons lore, Futurama is a TV show, and in Futurama lore, Simpsons is a TV show.
Yeah.
So
Oh, shit.
Is that...
Yeah.
Are you saying this breaks canon?
No, let's wait, hang on, let's figure this out.
Sorry.
No, but Simpsons could be still an episode, a show in Futurama. It could just be like an old classic TV show. And I don't know.
It's like a reality TV show
yeah.
in the Futurama world,
Yeah.
right?
Which logic stacks up better, Simpsons Futurama or Flintstones Jetsons?
Or Scooby-Doo, Batman and Robin.
Oh, I didn't know that was one.
Really?
Scooby-Doo teamed up with everyone
Calvin
at
and
this
Hobbes
point.
Fight Club.
Yes, that one stacks up,
Yeah.
though. That
That's
one absolutely
great.
makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Or there's also... I
Nope.
forgot.
I can also give you Scooby-Doo WWE.
I just remembered it. It's another Scooby-Doo one. It's Scooby-Doo versus and
can't see-
Supernatural.
sorry.
Well,
They have a Supernatural
Really?
Scooby-Doo crossover, which is great because they're all like, oh, and it's a demon, Jinkies, and then Dean's like, shit.
Why does everyone want to team up with this big, dumb, loud dog? He's not helpful.
He provides moral support.
He's just a big dickhead. I
Also,
don't get it.
He's a
what?
He's a big dickhead. He's
Also-
a big dickhead dog.
Got him a dick ham.
Scrappy Doo's Dick Ham. Scrappy Doo's the Dick Ham. He's the real Dick Ham here.
Everyone hates Scrappy, even though he can actually talk and,
Yeah.
anyway.
They just wish he
Scooby-Doo's
didn't.
too rambunctious for my liking.
I'm a chill guy.
He's a puppy.
I gotta say, I loved it when they punted him in that Scooby-Doo movie. Like, that was just worth the price of admission.
You like people punting puppies.
Only
That's
if they're
just on the
annoying
record
puppies.
now.
I mean, I always assumed Scrappy was a massive arsehole, and finally they leaned into it for the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, my kind of Scrappy-Doo.
That's the payoff I want for this
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo movie filmed in the Gold Coast.
Rowan
Yes.
Atkinson is actually Scrappy-Doo.
Spoilers.
So, guys, what did we think of Simpsorama?
Well, it was an episode of television, and I watched it.
Was it, though?
It started fairly strong. I think there were some good laughs from sign gags and slapstick.
Yeah.
And then, boy, howdy, did it go downhill quickly.
I think the anything that is strong about it is that it is a relatively simple concept for a crossover. Because crossovers, you're like, oh, this is so fucking contrived and I hate it. Whereas if you're just like, yeah, they're here, there's a portal, boom, bada bing, bada boom.
Sure.
You got a bit of sci-fi, you got a bit of just like, forget about it, it's
Yeah.
future, past. You're in. Like, that's kind of good that we don't have to really like flex our muscles to be like, how the fuck is this working?
Well, the place the comedy is supposed to come from is juxtaposing the characters, right? And they try that. They try like putting Lisa with the professor and Frink with the professor, and then go, oh, look at how they juxtapose.
They both wear thick glasses.
Yeah, and it just they feel, some places just feels like gags are missing. Like there's the thing that stood out for me was where there's Bart and Lisa, and he just goes, "Will you shut up?" And I'm like, did you guys forget to write a joke?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
amazing to recut HD Simpsons eras, but every time something like that falls flat, you put up a black screen that says gag missing?
It's like a fucking grind. It's like Grindhouse or something where it's just like
I really feel like they're
missing.
not far off actually doing that as well. Yeah, the way
yeah.
they stretch these episodes out, I feel like long title cards announcing that the gags are missing and not far away.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It's also and because of what you said, Phil, they have to kind of juxtapose on whatever. It just means that they end up explaining their own fucking format to the other show, and it's so not funny. Like Professor being like, "Wouldn't it be annoying if someone had a annoying voice and they can be
Professor
extra
Frink can eat my shit.
Professor Frink can eat your shit.
Like, some characters actually utilize their catchphrase straight away. Like, Bender's like, bite my shiny metal ass. And as you so well mentioned, Fry doesn't have a catchphrase, but they give him one.
Yeah.
What is it? Stabby stabby?
Stabby, stabby.
Yeah.
Come on, Bender. You remember that, right?
Yeah, that stabby, that thing I'm always saying.
And you're always doing, which you've never done before.
Shut up and receive my stabbies.
And then Leela's like, oh, I'm Leela.
Forget about it.
I had a weird... Okay, did anyone else get this? Is Leela really off-model in this episode? Or there's just certain frames where I'm
Isn't
like...
that visually? She looks odd.
Why is she off-model? Like, there's just a certain, like, jaggedness around her outline that just, like, really stood out to me. And her eye is not quite the same... Like, some frames it shrinks and sometimes it's not. Like...
Well, I had the same thing with Hedonism Bot, but Hedonism Bot sounds like
His
it's
voice
not quite
was-
the same voice.
Yeah, his voice was wrong.
It might not have been Maurice LaMarche.
No,
Yeah.
maybe not.
Because
I should have done that
One of
research.
the best things about Hedonism Bot is the texture of that voice, right? The lyrical,
I'm the hedonism bot over here.
yeah, it just doesn't feel right unless his voice does that.
Forget about
Well, it's
it.
a pizza pie.
Oh no, it was Maurice LaMarche.
Oh, you're a quicker.
I don't understand.
What
then
texture would you say his voice has?
this
Voluminous
timbre.
silk? Ooh. Is it something a bit velvet and
Do you
plush?
want to do a bit of hedonism, Bod?
Well, of course. How decadent.
I actually went back to your
yes.
very first episode, which was episode 14, and you actually say, I cannot wait to do Hedonism Bot at every opportunity. And he did.
Yes.
Oh, double entendre.
Easily my favorite character.
Yeah.
But
It's a good pickup.
And he-
speaking of hedonism
yeah.
bot, though, the couch gag. Did he make Homer come?
They definitely fucked.
I mean, I'm
There was some
assuming,
boning happening there, yes.
I'm assuming there is a canon voice for Homer
Sex.
climaxing, is there not?
Remember when we did Camp Krustia and then like Homer and Marge were fucking in the treehouse and then he like let out a Tarzan yelp?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
So we know what it
annoying.
sounds like. Okay.
So did we hear a Tarzan yelp?
I think we just heard a woohoo.
Then he did not come.
Can I just say, like, you
mean-
know when you're having sex with someone and they're just like, let it fucking roar, it's like, it's a bit excessive, isn't it?
We all know that, right, fellas?
We're in polite company. Do you have to yell?
You know how when you're having sex with someone, and explain further what it is.
I had this idea of someone comes and you just go,
Be quiet.
shut up.
It's a library.
Has Homer gotten progressively dumber as the seasons go through? Like, I do not enjoy that mirror Homer gag. I'm not there for that. Is he that
I feel
dumb?
like it varies, doesn't it? I mean, you guys are more experts than I am.
I
but-
think Homer gets stupider every year.
Yeah, I feel like he was once a kind of bumbling oaf, whereas now he is like incredibly not only stupid but unhinged and detached from reality.
Yeah.
in a way that I'm not on board with. You've seen more of the HD than me, Elliot.
Oh yeah, he's dumb and he's a psychopath. Like
Are you talking about me?
I mean, these characters have always sort of, been rubber bands that, stretch and...
Yeah.
But, if you stretch a rubber band out for 30 years, it kind of gets a bit ridiculous.
I feel like with gags like that, for me, I either want it to be more realistic or go the whole hog. Like, he's very dumb, but like, for me to make that gag work, if he was like a cockatiel or something and he just like he's trying to like catch himself in the mirror and then he just like starts headbutting it like a cockatiel would, like, I would appreciate that gag because it's like you either have to make him 100% dumb or
There are definitely
dial it
HD
back.
episodes that service that
Yeah.
service that wish for you.
and now I'm just imagining Bart like placating him by giving him like a cuttlefish pose or something. Yeah. But fuck, I had a point.
Were you going to say a thing? Go on, say your thing.
What's your
I
thing?
almost had a thing, but I lost it.
All right, it's time for Bender functions
Oh,
then.
God.
Yeah.
How much time do we have?
Functions.
Bender
There
functions.
are so many. There's so in no particular order. He can set himself as an alarm clock to wake up at a later date. He is a lie detector, very briefly. He's an automatic photo booth. He can turn into a weird car thing. He has an eye laser.
Wasn't that a baby's pram?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of, yeah. It's like a little go-kart.
It looks like one of those bicycles that you lie back. Do you know them?
A recumbent bicycle.
Exactly the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's fun to say. Eye laser, a time portal. His butt is a projector.
A recumbent butt.
His light is a tiny finger.
Wait, when did that happen?
His
Right
fingers-
at the beginning,
When he
where he
goes,
introduces himself.
I'm
He's
from,
from the
the
future.
future.
That's one of the other times I tuned out. I think.
I didn't see that.
No.
The future.
His mouth is a little marquee.
Oh, yes. I was there for that.
He
and
has
and
a,
his G's look like sixes, yeah.
yeah. He has
Like
a
a G6,
wobbly
yes.
tongue,
He has a tongue.
which has never happened in
Bender has
Futurama.
a tongue.
Never ever has he had a tongue. Well, sort of.
Made of tungsten.
Previously,
Dr. Tung has arrived.
That is very, very
a
good.
new player has entered the game. Yeah, no, the
That was made
closest
of tungsten. What? Sorry.
the closest he's had to a tongue before is like a little whirring thing that he uses like to chop up
Like
fish.
a garbage
Oh, for the-
disposal,
yeah,
right?
penguins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a garbage disposal.
Is it possible that it's Jebediah Springfield's silver tongue, and that when he
Nabs it?
when he crossed over into the Simpsons universe, he inherited that
silver tongue.
I thought you were going to say
Silver
he just went and stole it.
Yeah.
That seems more in character.
Yeah.
Probably. Hey,
Dug
a
it
silver
up.
tongue, sweet.
Yeah.
And
Kiss
then
my
if you,
shiny mother tongue.
Sell that.
if you can help me remember all of the things that pop out of his chest.
There's a boxing,
boxing
glove,
glove.
obviously. There is a flamethrower.
There's just like a random pistol.
I feel like there's
a
like
9mm.
I feel like there's like a little torpedo thing.
There's
like,
circular
Little
blades.
Yeah.
At one point, there's just a notepad and a series of pencils.
I didn't see that.
Oh, he steals office supplies. So that's
yeah,
what
that'd
yeah.
be right. That'd be right.
Oh, that's one of those like stupid immediate payoff jokes where, the rabbit Bart's in the future and Hermes, the one thing that Hermes can complain about, they're ruining the office supplies, and Bender's like, that's despicable. Whoops, I stole the office supplies.
Mamma mia.
There was an there was an instant payoff joke in this, which normally falls under a category you hate, the instant brain damage one.
Oh, I hate the brain damage joke.
What's that?
So, do you want to explain your instant brain damage?
The basic premise.
personally?
The basic premise of a brain damage joke is, someone gets hit in the head and it's like, oh, that hurt. I hope that didn't, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
But there was one with Bender when he gets shot in the head, and it actually works for him because he's all microchipped, so it would be instant brain damage.
Yeah, but it's like, oh no, my language center. I'm just not there for it.
I do have that gag works once in a different. This is a Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode, but when when his water gets spiked with like 90 caffeine pills, and he's like, how did you do that? Is that me have stroke?
Oh, that is my favorite book.
Like all the caffeine seems to kick in one fell swoop.
Sneaky 99s.
James, you
Yeah.
have never
I'm
watched
having
Brooklyn
a
Nine-Nine,
stroke
have
over
you?
here. What? I've watched every episode.
Oh,
I'm all
good.
about that Brooklyn
I
Nine-Nine
just felt like
Nice.
calling you out. I don't know why.
I haven't. I'm the content non-engager, so I'm not even sure what Brooklyn Nine-Nine is.
And I'm halfway between where I gave up in season 3 because I thought it turned to shit.
It gets
I know,
good
we had
again.
this conversation on Skype the other day.
Yeah, I just wanted to see Alan's reaction because I know you're a fan.
Them's fighting words, Elliot. We'll have a little tussle after this. Don't you
Once we
worry.
can untangle ourselves from this
Yeah.
giant tangle. Yeah.
You guys can help me with my particular segment as well, which is the death tally. Oh, shit.
Oh,
a
it's
lot.
huge.
Yeah.
So many. Are we counting the little Bart mutant deaths
Little
as well?
buddy boys.
Yeah, which is probably about 10 of them. But not all of them.
Can I say the most horrific one is like when Homer's like going, why you little, and like snapping their necks off. And then he grabs actual Bart.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
And
horrifying.
With the worst drawing in the episode, where Homer is
Yeah.
theoretically grabbing his neck, but his hands somehow encase Bart's entire body.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just his little legs are poking out underneath.
His hands squish Bart's torso.
Yeah, like
to,
he's gonna tear his son asunder.
But to the diameter of his neck. Can you just think about that in like real world,
Right.
like proportions for a second? It's if
I mean,
it's
it's
like
like
if
Snap
you-
him open
dolls.
like a Kinder Surprise. It's awful.
It just, everything about this episode feels really lazy.
There's a lot of weird, just like animation stuff going on in this one. Like they go to a bowling alley at one point, and the bowling alley is empty except for Homer and Bender and
Yeah.
their friends.
Yeah.
And
bowling alleys are never empty. They're fun places.
Can I also say?
I know, I had my 31st birthday party at a bowling alley. Because I'm a grown-up.
I mean,
with the bumpers up?
slightly rude. Slightly rude.
Not the bumpers up, but the little,
Just
slide.
gutter balls.
Slightly rude that I didn't get an invite despite not knowing you until
Also,
an hour
we
ago.
have 2 major Futurama deaths.
well,
Linda
Yeah.
gets eaten,
Yeah, Linda is gone.
and
Yeah.
Scruffy blows his brain out.
okay, but
yeah,
as,
whoa!
as we
So glad you brought that
discussed,
up.
okay, so in the last Futurama episode we watched, it is revealed that Scruffy
Is a
is
zombie.
actually a zombie that the Planet Express crew reanimated, right?
Time and death is a
So-
seamless continuum.
Does it count? Also, he has like a Barbie doll head. When he blows his head off, there's just like a
hole.
a hole, and like it's like his head pops into it. There's no like blood or like
So
larynx
is he
or
a
any
zombie or
organs
is he a
in there.
robot?
I don't know.
It's non-moustache Scruffy as well.
He's a Barbie janitor.
But I don't understand that moment. Is it meant to be funny? Like he
horrible.
blows his head off? You're like, ha ha ha, it's suicide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know, Futurama, especially in the later seasons, for me leans in a little too far to just characters get very severely hurt, and that's meant to be the joke.
Yeah.
And it's one of those sorts of jokes.
Like, we laugh at people who, like, when they get hurt because they're rubber dolls, but none of them die. Like,
No, and
Yeah, he
like
dead.
and none of them shoot their fucking Barbie doll head off.
In an extreme close-up, too.
Yes.
It's just the...
I think what they were doing there was going for the misdirect joke where Amy finds Scruffy's moustache and, they got Scruffy. Nope, just my moustache. Wife without a moustache isn't worth living. And then he fucking blows his head off. So the whole misdirect is meant to be the joke. But yeah, it didn't get a laugh out of us. I think all of us were just like,
Horrified.
Oh, hello.
So what's the death count at?
Oh, good God. Okay. I just wanted to count the initial skeleton. I know we don't see it, but that initial skeleton, I asked you and you accepted it.
I said that counts in the death toll.
The
I don't
nuclear
know.
inspector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that everyone gets cancer.
Oh, yeah, everyone exposed to that waste will get cancer at some point, so you can count it in the
So
death
they-
toll.
That explains how. Maybe it explains how people's skin turn
yellow?
to
Yellow?
Pink in the future.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
From yellow to pink. Yeah.
From jaundice to not jaundice.
What about the rabbit whose foot has been thrown?
Oh, yeah.
That rabbit is dead.
It could just have three. It could just have
I mean, the
three
rabbit
feet.
could
Yeah.
still be going somewhere.
I've got Linda, who gets straight up eaten.
Yep. And then like that's how the Bart rabbits turn into their next mutation. So is that how they do that? Like they have to eat someone, so the death tally from that theory would be much higher.
Because every one of them turns into a goblin.
Yeah,
so they've
yeah.
all eaten
Because they have
someone.
to eat someone whole and then
Funny
turn
little
into
green
the
ghouls.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a numerical value to this anymore. I mean, there's also the horse on the racetrack that gets just straight up blown up as well.
Doesn't
And
that create
potentially
a
the
time
jockey.
paradox, kind of? Because Bender travels back to the past and he finds out that horse dies during the race, but he's the one who kills it.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
so it was always meant to be.
And then he becomes his own grandmother, isn't that how it works?
This is Sucker Punch all over again.
Oh, no.
Stop comparing things to Sucker Punch.
I think you should, because it will always be better. Like, it's a very low bar that you've set yourself. So you're like,
You've only seen 12 movies. You
At
get
least-
to reference about
at
some
least
movies.
it's not Sucker Punch.
That's my death tally.
Well,
just-
many.
Many.
Well, nobody at this table's died yet, so this battle royale is not eating up at all.
But fans want it.
But just on like the horse race and stuff, man, Maggie and Bender's adventure should have been a lot more fun than it
Right.
actually
Yeah.
was.
It really should have.
Did they have an
Yeah.
adventure? I barely remember.
Because
Just go to the
is-
race course. That's
Maggie
it.
is a criminal. We know this.
Yeah.
She has shot someone.
And she's
she'll
an
do it
escape
again.
artist.
She's an
Yeah.
escape artist. She's
Just-
also on the. She's on the payroll. She's been fucking accepting like.
Yeah, I
Cash.
enjoy that Maggie pockets the money from the betting, which hints at like a much richer tapestry of a story that happened there, but we don't get to see any of
No.
it.
No, we
What's
see
what's
Bender
point
lose
in-
at the track.
What's the point in weaving a tapestry if you're not going to show the people that you've woven it?
I want to see that artwork.
I want to see that tapestry.
Like, I could have taken out the minute of Farnsworth praying to some...
To nothing. He
nothing.
prays to nothing.
The atheist
He
prayer.
does the Lord's Prayer, but it's all about nothing.
Yeah.
I would have
he-
taken that out and had
he
a Bender
basic-
Maggie scene.
he
Ricky
basically-
Gervais was sitting at home, though, just clapping. Yes. Yeah, he's an atheist.
Centrism, yeah.
You see, what's
brilliant.
what's
Open up the
funny
front door,
about
he's
that
just
joke
like
is,
me
and I'll
now.
explain it to you over the next 5 minutes why that joke is funny.
Very clever.
But I mean, there is just so much wasted time. Like at the track as well, they have this fucking Wiggum and Lou moment where it's like, can't you just leave me alone on my day off while you're wearing your uniform? Blah, blah, blah. Fuck off.
It's a that joke works better in Mean Girls. Well, it's not really a joke, is it?
There is so much like wasted time, right? So they have like what you think is a one-line gag about freemium games, and then Homer has like 2 or 3 more lines about freemium games. You're
Yeah.
like,
Isn't this about the time they launched The Simpsons Tapped Out as well?
and the Futurama.
Yeah.
Worlds of Tomorrow.
Oh,
That's what-
yeah.
yeah.
Can I just ask? I'm going to do the Phil thing now. Can I just ask what this fucking note means?
Yeah, go for it.
So Sean said that won't work at a certain point, and then it didn't, and he was like, "Yes."
Bender's targeting system for the bowling alley.
Oh, yes.
Oh, because he tries to curve around
Yeah.
like a bloody flipper.
Yeah, he spends
And
the
then-
whole time, and I just look at it and go, well, that's not fucking going to work.
Yes.
That's not an optimal bowling line.
No.
Yeah, because it hits the head pin. It's meant to go in between 1 and 2. So
Well, you would know, Phil, as you had your
That's my
31st
birthday at a bowling
birthday.
alley.
By my calculation.
And also in that scene, Lenny and Carl are wearing Pin Pals shirts. They weren't part of the original Pin Pals. Oh. It even shows it on the fucking back of the shirt. God damn it.
Elliot's anal corner.
Elliot's
What is
anal
it?
corner.
It's Homer, Apu, Mo,
Mo and Mr. Burns.
Burns.
And
Yeah,
Otto
Burnsy.
originally.
Yeah, he's like the Pete Best.
Yes.
Very good.
can we find any jokes that do work?
Well, I suppose segue on to what did we like about this episode?
That's a handful of
something.
things. Some
Well,
lines.
hang on, I have one, and it goes with my segment. So, Fashion Corner, I really like Bender's Fashion Corner.
Fashion.
Wait, didn't I have a theme
Corner.
song at one point? Fuck.
I'm
I
not
think
sure.
it was
Did you?
just us going,
I think
Fashion
Fashion Corner.
corner.
There's a
then-
brand new
Wink.
section, but I don't know its name.
And then I would wink at the end. That was a thing I did once.
Okay, wink.
Wink.
There you go.
So Fashion Corner, I really like Bender's dark grey overcoat. Like, it's kind of one of those old-fashioned detective overcoats, and he pairs it with some chunky shades. It's very chic. It's very trendy, mum.
Some Chungus shades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like Lisa's kind of... no, it's not a spacesuit. What is it? It's just a robotic full-body suit. No head armor or anything. But it's just kind of cool, I suppose. And that's literally it for Fashion
Just
Corner.
to check, Elliot, are you taking notes on us during the podcast?
I was trying to just cross-reference jokes that worked.
Oh, yeah.
I quite like motherly love. Why did we outlaw that?
Yeah, yep. I think we all got a kick out of the couple of sign gag jokes in this episode.
How to read a book in bed.
Yes.
Very good.
What was the one at the start, Nick?
Time capsule sounds cool, but it's just a box we bury.
That's pretty... I also like the fact that the time capsule used to be a Civil War coffin. The sign for time
Yeah.
capsule falls off. It says Civil War coffin, and they're
wow.
like, oh, and they just try and stick it back over the top.
Except it looked more like a touring road case.
Oh, yeah, it did
Like
too.
it looked heaps like a like the kind of thing Metallica would put all their
Yeah.
microphone stands in.
Yeah, no, it does.
Which odd choice for a Civil War coffin, unless you were burying a roadie. I guess did they have roadies in the Civil War?
It's the way he would have wanted to go.
It's the way you would have
Yeah.
wanted to go.
I've got a note here, and so I'll be Phil now. Can you tell me whether this is a positive or a negative note? I say Mo excuse.
Well, there's
no excuse for not knowing. We're incorrigible. Buzz in the Key of Springfield. Don't forget to subscribe and rate.
No, we
They
got
go to the bar and
Mo's there.
Mo's there, and he pays
Tries
with his
to pay.
finger.
Well, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He fake pays.
I like the
pays.
implication that Bender has had sex with the jukebox as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And
He-
the
he hates
jukebox
when they go
plays
quiet.
Related, songs. That's not nothing.
Yeah. Same.
Beyond that, I can't really tell you. There's an
No.
excuse to have some of the characters in the room.
I have no idea.
No.
I'm sure it wasn't that relevant.
Sorry.
Hey,
Can't
Elliot,
help.
how do you feel about Seymour?
I hate
Seymour Butts.
everything. Well, yeah, Seymour Butts. I hate that they sullied the fucking future. One of the best Futurama episoms, Jurassic
also-
Park. They sullied it by putting Seymour in this fucking episode, and also it doesn't make sense because is Fry from The Simpsons? He's not.
No, he's not.
It's not New York either.
Yeah.
Maybe it was an unrelated dog that will also die. Maybe there are two dogs who die.
I mean, wow.
I feel so much better now.
Wow. I mean, also, I love the prediction of, what's going to happen in the future then? You die. Oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, but the whole tether Bart scene, where just smacking Bart for like...
Tasty boy.
Tasty boy.
I laughed at that. Mainly
Tasty
because
boy.
I want to go into a club with a sign on me that says Tasty
Tasty
boy.
Who would win?
I did
One tasty boy.
I did enjoy Mayor Quimby's throwaway line, which is even God hates jazz.
Hey.
I like jazz, but
I
it's still
really
funny.
like jazz. I used to play in a jazz band.
Oh, did you?
Lisa's-
I went to jazz school. What'd you play?
Saxophone, tenor saxophone.
Second chair.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Bass player.
Fuck
Saxophone.
yeah.
Jazz.
Notice Ellen didn't return that high five.
That's all right. I got it. It's unresolved.
It was a
like
high jazz hand.
baby.
Yeah.
It's an unresolved high five.
Increasing that tension for the payoff of the resolution
yeah.
will be better.
We're gonna
How dominant seventh of you.
Oh, we're gonna do a blues high five.
Well, yeah, it's going to have that chromatic fourth. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
F major, am I right?
but also about jazz. The
What is this? A circle of
Davis.
sixths?
Fifth.
yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble.
I love it. I love it.
Sorry.
No, but the holophone
Holo
saxophone. That's
Yeah.
great. Love that.
And she's
yeah.
really adept at it as well.
really
Of course
good.
she
Yeah,
is.
brilliant.
Great. Did anyone see what was the image she was playing on the holophone? Because I didn't catch
There
that.
was some flowers at some point.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of generic niceness.
So it wasn't the
Yeah.
grumpy snail or anything
No,
like
it was
that.
No.
flowers and rainbows and stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
It's lovely.
It's all right.
What do we think
It's
of the
not bad.
lovely, totally not earned ending with Bender and Homer?
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. No.
It made me smile more than it should have.
Right?
And I was smiling going, this isn't a payoff.
Right?
This isn't a resolution.
No, it was really lovely, but I thought I just wish this was earned a bit more.
I'd like to raise a question because I feel like I missed something integral in this episode. Why did they end up not destroying the time capsule? Just like Willie said they couldn't? Was there an actual reason beyond that?
Wait, did that?
I
Wait,
thought
I thought they did.
Didn't they?
Because
I
Bender got
swear
his
they
like
did.
Cyclops eye laser and
That's
is that when he used
But
that?
then, like, why did that not work? What's going on
No,
here?
they
I
did.
think-
I don't think they destroy it. They just
Yeah.
get slurped back into
Yeah, because
the
Willie
future.
comes along, he's like, don't be doing that. I'm Willie over here. And
I
then it
wrote
just
my
doesn't
name in the
happen.
concrete. That's
Yeah.
why
Angry
he says
janitor.
no.
And then at that point, they get sucked through the portal.
Yes.
Then. Yeah.
But
and then they
the
have an alternate
doesn't-
plan
yeah.
instead. Yeah.
Okay, wait, sorry, no.
But
Explain
why?
this to me. How did we resolve things? Wait, so
we didn't.
They lure them into Madison Cube Garden and shoot them into space.
Which is a
but in-
resolution that does not require the Simpsons,
No,
really.
no.
No.
Except that Lisa knows how to round up Barts. That's
Yeah,
why
but she
they
just
need
plays
her.
saxophone.
Yeah.
There's saxophone
well,
players
she
in the
originally
future.
goes, "There's Butterfingers over there."
Yeah.
Fuck
But
off.
that's not even a...
has
that's
Bart
not
ever
even
enjoyed
a...
Butterfingers? Is Butterfingers a
Oh,
thing?
don't you lay a finger on Bart's
Bart's
Butterfingers.
all about Butterfingers.
Is it?
We've done the research on this one specific thing and
They
nothing
did
else.
a run of ads for about 4 or 5 years where Bart was, and he was, getting up to hijinks and then stealing Butterfingers from people. You look really concerned,
That's
Phil.
so weird.
Why?
It kind of reminds me of like there was a whole range of Wallace and Gromit ads in Japan for like kind of jelly pudding or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, how does this relate back to
that's
Wallace
great.
and Gromit?
Jelly
I mean,
pudding.
I
Was
kind
it
of,
cheese flavored?
no. I mean, I kind of love it, mainly because it's just Wallace and Gromit, and it's just so fucking weird that you're like, all right.
Total tangent. The reason that it's Wensleydale is because it's the
Because
most
it's
fun to say.
Wensleydale cheese.
Yeah, but the reason they chose
Wensleydale.
that cheese is because it's the most
It
fun
is
cheese
very
to
fun
say.
to say. And
Yeah.
also, Wallace and Gromit saved the Wensleydale cheese because Wensleydale cheese was like going out as a business, and they started marketing with Wallace and Gromit on the kind of
Aren't
wrapping.
humans great? They just hear a thing in a show. They're like,
All right.
I'm gonna
advertising.
I'm gonna eat more of that. Yeah, that sounds great.
Coca-Cola does sound good right now.
Well, mind you, it worked on you guys because you guys bought Butterfingers and ate them for your show.
They were awful. They sent me into such a...
At least one of our listeners bought one afterwards as well. I'm sure.
But you did eat it.
I had a
dead now.
sugar-induced panic attack. It was so bad. But it's interesting what you say about the subversive nature of people just going out and buying products. Because remember, guys, Nightmare Spaghetti is really good if you're actually looking for a bit of a snack. It's really.
If you're looking for
it's
a
really
bit of
fulfilling.
an eerie snack in like the witching
The
hour.
spookiest spaghetti.
I'm hungry, but I also want some cosmic horror.
Yeah, nice. Cthulhuos. They're little tentacles in a O.
In an infinite spiral of
In a-
madness. Yeah.
Like a Junji Ito Uzumaki.
In a non-Euclidean fucking shape.
I have a question for the Futurama people.
Well, you're looking directly at me.
I have to say, well, I'm going to scan my eyes over the others.
okay.
He looks at me and Sean and goes, "I'm not
No,
bothering
no,
you, these fucking idiots."
I'm opening this out to all of you.
Yeah,
'cause
sure.
I have to say, I've actually never been that much of a Futurama fan, and so I have a clarification
And
question.
yet
I
here
can't
you
get
are.
out. I'm literally the most enveloped in this.
Which one is Bender?
Which one's Bart? No. Is Zoidberg
Yes.
the Eeyore of Futurama?
Kind of.
He's not
That's what
grumpy, but he's sad.
Yeah.
Eeyore's not grumpy.
He is very lovable. I grin
Yes.
every time Zoidberg comes on the screen.
Zoidberg quite often saves an episode.
Of subpar episodes.
Like he comes in with a gag where that's like it's just something that's nice and makes you smile.
And it makes you smile, and you agree with it.
If you're ever high, he's the funniest character.
Yeah.
I think he's the funniest character regardless.
His deal is that often that he is hungry, sad, poor, and
Has
no
no
one
friends.
likes
And
him.
he's a little
Same.
squid boy.
But it's
Same.
That's why we all relate to him.
Yeah.
Totally.
Can I just say it's very clowning? Like that's the clowning principles. It's like it's one of your archetypes. The kind of it's like
squid boy.
It's one of the
Yes.
like
Squid boy clown.
when you do
squid boy
clowning.
mask.
There's like the servant archetype where they're always lower
There's
class.
the
they're
servant,
always,
the bard, the crustacean.
your classic clowning models.
So Zoidberg's last name is Gollier.
No, Zoidberg's last name is Zoidberg. I'm shitting on your joke here, but
Yeah,
actually,
He's Robert Pagliacci.
His name is John
it's
Zoidberg.
John Zoidberg.
John A.
yeah.
Zoidberg.
John Zoidberg.
Yes, it's very
Dr.
weird.
John A. Zoidberg.
Well, I have this theory about Bender and Zoidberg, where they're complete opposites.
Sure.
Where Bender is a complete dick to everybody, and everybody loves him. He's super popular, and Zoidberg is totally lovely and generous, and everybody hates him. So they exist as
Bender's the
opposites.
id.
Which is really weird because we know that in a past life, Zoidberg was the most popular.
Yes.
Yeah.
He used to be
Bloody-
called Johnny.
Johnny. He had a
Johnny
nickname.
And he
Zoidberg.
had hair.
And he had a hot
That's how you choose to
girlfriend.
imagine him.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
But he is helpful. I took the liberty of fertilizing your caviar.
That's pretty good.
That was a good
Dr.
Zoidberg.
Zoidberg over here.
so thankfully, we don't need to. Does anyone have any final things they need to get off their
Was
chest?
anyone else distressed by the little green ghoul Bart ripping its own skin off to moon some
Reveal
people?
its butt.
Yeah.
Show its fleshy little ass.
Yes.
Jesus.
Is the short answer to that.
I love Marge's sandwich sense. It's a weird gag, but just when Bart throws the sandwich in the time capsule, like we go to Marge and she's like,
My sandwich.
She's got a shinning for that.
My manwich.
I gotta say, like, it's actually a joke that I'm sick of now because The Simpsons actually do it all the fucking time in the HD era, but usually it's with Homer and someone will say, our character's unrelated will be talking about food and then Homer will be like, pepperoni. And it's like, why the fuck did you cut to him for
yeah,
that?
that's terrible.
I
Or,
did.
or sometimes he'll phone them and they'll answer their mobile phone and be like, "Oh, yes, Homer, pepperoni."
Yeah.
What? Fuck off.
I did enjoy Homer's line where he gives an excuse to Marge where he says, it's probably Homer coming back from Moe's.
Oh yeah, and then he just
And then-
smiles
yeah.
for like
A very
really-
expectant grin
Really?
going, "Did it work? Did it work?"
Is he coming?
Must have been that bean I had earlier.
I love. There's two lines I really love. There's this is the only legacy you'll ever leave. There's Bart's sandwich in the time capsule, and I also love that could be anyone's ooze.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing to say at an orgy.
Swinging, huh?
It's a library.
Yeah, all swing parties happen in a library, don't you know?
All of mine do. That's why the decimal system's so Jewy.
I feel like we're getting dropped from a lot of green after this episode.
That's one of those great things because it sounds like a sex joke, and then you process it and go, "That makes no sense." it's on the border of being filthy enough to get a laugh, but it doesn't actually track as a joke.
No, but let me explain to you why that joke is as funny as it
Very
was,
funny.
right?
Oh, did I offend you?
I love that Kang and Kodos are revealed to be lesbians.
Yes.
And that's canon now, and I'll...
Lesbian sisters.
And I'll
But it's
cling to that.
couched in that annoying fucking
yeah.
and
Duh.
they're a dysfunctional couple. Isn't that funny?
Although I did laugh at her berating him for turning off the atmosphere because I had all right. This is Ellen's other segment where it's time to dick on my ex. Wink. So my ex used to sleep with the fucking fan on all the time and like had it pointed solely at the bed, and I'm like, can you not? Because it's winter. Like, even in winter, he would have it on.
Ooh,
and I'm like,
winter
I'm
fan.
freezing over here.
Oh,
And
I'm
he's-
freezing over here.
I'm freezing.
over here.
Yeah. And he's like,
I don't know why I keep doing that.
Yeah, it's basically like, well, if it's a problem for you, then you do something. Well, why?
I
don't
love your ex voice, by the way.
Yeah,
Why did you date someone with that kind of voice?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
You should have seen that coming, really. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sorry, who are the characters in the dysfunctional couple? Because again, not a
Lur
Futurama fan.
and
Nda.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not Retaxas from Babar and Queen Retaxas because they look a little Retaxas-y.
A little
Or
bit.
the Battletoads.
All the battle
Or the what's the species of crocodile in Donkey Kong?
Kremlins.
No,
Kremlins.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
The Kremlin's like the
King K. Rool.
like the seat of power in Russia. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Donkey Kong is the Communist Manifesto. Don't you know?
Oh, on the screen, what was the image of the cane toad that hypnotized Bart?
Oh,
That's
that's
the
Hypnotoad.
Oh, that's the Hypnotoad.
From the
It's,
popular show Everybody Loves Hypnotoad.
Yeah.
Which
Which
is
is
one
a
joke that they repeat over and over and over
Right.
again.
Which is a side mission if you guys know that there's a full-length
I
Hypnotoad
am
episode.
avoiding that.
Yes, I don't know how
If
we're
you,
going to
if
talk
you
about
ever
that.
want to do it, I will do it. I have sat down and I've watched it
I-
start to finish
I
before.
really
It is a
think-
meditative
I really
experience.
think we should also drop acid before we do it.
Yeah.
See, I thought that it was just a plain and normal cane toad, or perhaps a Michael cane toad.
Okay, that segues well into my next question, I think.
That's handy.
Look, there was a particular point in this episode where I just wasn't feeling it. I know this is your 100th episode, and Nick just said the thing he said, so I'm going to ask, we're adults. Should we be, like, podcasting about real stuff?
Did this episode just make you realize the futility of
Just a
our
moment,
own
what am I
lives?
doing?
You've joined me on my existential crisis
I'm
journey.
watching pop culture I don't even like.
I really enjoy that when you looked at me and said, "Oh, that set up my segue nicely." I was like, "Oh, I've done a good thing," and then you're like, "Hey, this fuckwit makes me realize we're wasting our life."
Let me outline the crisis I'm going through.
Is this where you're breaking to Nick that you're no longer doing pods in the Key of Springfield?
No, we'll keep doing it. It's
That
good.
would come as a relief to both of us.
This episode made you lose your will to talk about pop culture.
You're
Fantastic.
But we've
There's
still
a
got our fill.
Does anyone still have a few more likes? Because I've got two.
No.
I like that the
I'm out.
Epcot Center is now just a slave. Like,
Oh, yeah. A slave labor camp for
They
the
call
week.
it, yeah, a labor camp for the week, and also that they shoot the Super Bowl losers into space.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find that funny.
It's fair.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I liked.
Oh, actually, there was one more line that I liked in the post-credit sequence with Nda and Lur, where she goes, "What happened to the beautiful man that I married?" And he goes, "I ate him." Yeah, because I'm like you guys, I'm not normally a fan of their bickering, especially because
Yeah.
they've got that yelly voice. It's extra grating,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that line worked for me.
They dedicate
They're
a whole episode to them as well. That was fun.
Oh, but that episode also led to a murmur firmer of consequences, and that is the hit game of the summer.
The what?
The ephemeral consequences, which is I fucking forget the context of it, but it was a thing.
Yeah.
So guys, we don't have to do a vote, which is great.
Sorry, I had one more note on the episode.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think the major thing that doesn't work about this episode is that you've got two shows with large ensemble cast where they're trying to equally service them, but they're putting too much weight into the wrong characters. Like,
Yeah, where was Stewie Griffin in this one?
Comes Bart.
but I mean, on that, like, there wasn't a lot of Bart. There was fucking barely any Fry, and there
Fry
was
has 4 lines
Yeah.
in this whole episode.
Stabby, stabby.
his famous catchphrases.
And he says that 4 times.
And there's just way too much Frink as well. And he only seems to exist there so they can go, "Hey, he looks like Professor Farnsworth." Oh, and that fucking other joke where they point out that Homer and Bender are kind of similar drawings.
Oh, yeah.
Blech.
So we don't have to do a vote this time. Unless we want to stack it against Radiorama, but fuck that. So, guys, we get to do a voice.
Oh.
Everyone's favorite segment.
Wink.
So we get to embarrass ourselves with our inability to do impressions.
I feel like we should do a Simpsons character because we're never going to get to do that.
Sure.
Sure.
Ever
as long
again.
as we don't do Jerry Lewis, I mean Frink.
All right, time for a Simpsons character.
Damn, you took the only one I can do.
who sort of appears in this episode.
I missed that.
Oh no, he's not. I thought for some reason
Nick, you
I thought
gonna-
Snake was what's his face's dad.
You gotta do your famous Marge
Nelson's
impression.
Nelson's dad, but he's not, is he? That's not a real thing.
Regular? It takes premium, dude! Premium!
Dude, I'm Snake.
Are we all just doing Snake, or what are we doing? Anyone want to try Marge?
Well, I mean, my favorite.
Not my voice.
My favorite Marge impression is say oh.
Bay. A.
And say we're a little tag team duo.
That's our one
Nice.
bit. That's our entire podcast.
Amanda hug and kiss. I'm looking for Amanda hug and kiss. Mo, obviously.
Millhouse.
Can I borrow a feeling?
Oh, that is good.
Can you lend me a jar of love?
You can always do Maggie if you want.
Hearts need some healing.
Oh, that was
Take my hand with your glove of love.
Can anyone
There we
do
go,
the
that's
sideshow Bob?
Oh, wait. Rex. My arch enemy.
It's
I've also
German
got
for
Don't cry for me. I'm already dead.
Oh, Ray Romano.
Hey, guys.
Gee, Yogi, I don't think the Rangers gonna like you.
Hey, Bobo, my boy.
Gee, Yogi, I don't think the Rangers gonna like this anymore.
Oh, while we're doing that,
jellyfishing. I'm ready. That works because I just really have an annoying voice. So it's just to steer into the skid, isn't it? I'm
Is
coming for it.
mayonnaise an instrument?
so that was Voice Corner.
Was it?
Saxophone.
Was that anything?
No, was not a thing. at all.
Premium content, dude.
Well,
Premium.
this episode, of course, will be put in a time capsule after it's done.
I can't
And it will
believe
be
we
what
did-
future generations will know about our time.
I can't believe we did all the voices, but none of us did. It was an emergency from the Commissioner of Springfield.
Tobias!
And what is our Prime Minister's currently called?
Andy!
G'day, mate. What's a good word?
Now, so, guys, if you've listened through all of this, it is not for naught, because I have a lovely piece of news for you that you've waited the entire time.
Podcasting is over.
So in a couple of weeks' time, we are actually going to have a very special Shut Up and Take My podcast, and I've told you guys half of this. I haven't told you the other half. So the first half is that we have scored an interview with Futurama director Stephen Sandoval.
Oh, wow.
Who most recently did Law and Oracle, the episode that we just did.
Which is our current champion.
Yes.
Like one of my favorites, not just from the new run of episodes, like all of Futurama. I fucking adore Law and Oracle.
I missed that episode.
Yeah,
I'm
we-
going to go back
we-
and watch it.
We
Yeah.
voted for it over late Philip J. Fry, so it's now the
okay.
current winner. Spoilers. However, when I contacted Stephen, because I said, hey, do you want to do this thing? He was like, forget about it. Of course we can. And then he said, oh, hold on for a second. Like, let me get back to you in about 2 days. I just got to check something. I was like, okay. And he goes, hey, I got one of my Futurama friends, Peter Avancino, to do it with us. Which he didn't at the very beginning. The series has landed,
Yay.
the first official episode after the pilot. He's a big Futurama man.
Oh my god.
So we're getting both Peter Avancino and Stephen Sandoval together in a couple of weeks' time.
That
Sean,
is-
I'm a bit giddy.
Is that just because it's quite warm in this kitchen?
Quite.
Well, I'm excited to announce that we have burned all of our bridges. None of the writers will even look at us.
Yeah, I think us three were talking about how we've all hit up Al Jean on Twitter and been very critical of him.
Oh no.
And I'm also in talks with a Futurama writer as well, but I can't confirm anything.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Confirm or firma. That didn't work. Let's move past that.
Add it to the pile of gags that we didn't land.
Hey guys, thanks for joining 100 episodes of this shit. But no, seriously, thanks guys for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing your beards to add to our beards.
Do you
is
guys
a
want
fairly
to? We
beer-heavy
can start
table.
with pods. Do you guys want to spruik anything for yourselves or others?
Do we, Nick? I don't know. We have a podcast. It's called Pods of the Key of Springfield. Sometimes it's about The Simpsons. We are on the A Lot of Green Network with these guys, which is a fun little thing. There's a lot of podcasts on there. We're on all the services. We think we're good, don't we, Nick?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, so, why not download every episode? Don't even need to listen to them. Just keep downloading them. The statistics are the same for us, so whatever. It's fine.
Elliot?
Yeah, so I host the Simpsons Index. We review 3 episodes of The Simpsons at a time, but each one comes from a different era of the show's run. So we like to really get into comparing, like, what was so great about the classics in comparison to what's not really working about the new ones. And yeah, and we do it like that.
It's the online podcast. It is also a podcast.
And there is also a spreadsheet that you can see
Wait, what?
at the simpsonsindex.com.
I wasn't in before, but
Yeah.
spreadsheets.
And us, guys? What are we?
yeah, I guess we also do a
Yeah.
podcast, eh?
Yeah.
that you're listening to right
Yeah.
now. Yeah. And if you want to get in touch with us about that podcast,
Yeah, you can do so by contacting us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com.
or hit us up on Facebook and send us memes
That's at www.facebook.com.
until they shut it down
Yeah.
for being just a cesspool of privacy giving away data.
Yeah,
type
we
thing.
also are on
Your
Instagram.
page or Facebook?
Just to all of Facebook.
We give out a lot of confidential information. We're also on
Given my date of birth.
We're also on Instagram if you want to actually put like faces to the voices. You see some. There'll be a time lapse of this very fucking thing that we're doing now. We're all waving hi. Thank you for looking on our Instagram page. So check us out. We have stories. Sometimes we have polls, and we have little pictures of things that are up and coming as well.
And the best way that you can help us out, whether it's Pods in the Key of Springfield, Simpsons Index, or Shut Up and Take My Podcast, so go on either iTunes or the podcast app and rate 5 stars and review. If you like what we do,
Please rate and review.
No.
little rhyme for you there.
That was some sick beats, guys.
It is the best way to skyrocket up us the stratosphere of the charts and make us some sweet, sweet money. And also,
You can make money from
Money in
this shit.
podcasting?
Yeah.
All right, my comment about the sick beats went to your head.
Basically, if you get famous in another way and then have a podcast, there's
Yeah, if
sweet
you're fucking
money.
Conan O'Brien. Are you getting like, if you could get Paul F. Tompkins on here or something,
wait,
it'd just be
look,
cracky over the
watch
back.
this.
That'd be the whole thing.
I know references. Paul F. Pumpkin.
He did
Watch
it.
Pods in the Key of Springfield to watch it with your eyes for that reference.
Please watch it. Yeah.
And until the next 100 episodes, which will happen. Please, guys, please. I have been Sean.
I've been Phil.
I've been Elliot.
I've been Nick.
I've been James.
I've been Ellen.
Seamless. Thanks, guys.
And this has been a podcast.
It has indeed been a podcast.
Shut up and index my coffee pods.
In the key.
of
Springfield.
Index, a podcast about a podcast.
Podcast about nothing.
That's all the mustard in the house.
So this is where we'll be looking at every episode of Futurama from the beginning. I'll say it right now. We are the only, as of recording, the Australian Futurama podcast. We are the only one. We said it here.
Yep, that we know.
That's us. That we know of. We did like minimal research on this, so it's very vague.
If it wasn't on the first page
declaration.
of Google, we're okay.
Hey, look, if you're not on the first page of Google, where are you?
I don't know.
Go home.
I typed in Australia Futurama podcast.
Yeah, you're good.
And then
You're
just
set.
I think we're
Futurama
covered.
Wikipedia came up and they're
Sweet.
fine.
We're covered then.
You know, we should have called ourselves the Australian Futurama podcast.
They would have found us so much easier.
Damn it.
That's not as good to scream.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah, but
seem to
then
have
when we start, each of us have to try and do a Shut Up and Take My Podcast scream.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Shut Up and Take My Podcast.
Shut up and take my podcast. Shut up and take my podcast.
Up and take my podcast!
Thank you. I'm a
I was not expecting that.
No, that was 73 episodes in. You've got to get creative.
Scraping the bottom of the barrel.
We're going to spice things up, you know what I mean? Wink.
Elderly statesman Phil, can you please run down the plot of this episode?
Oh, yeah. This episode's all about Fry's dick.
How many
Nice.
people do you think died from eating Panucci's pizza?
No one. I keep
lot.
telling you, it is fine.
I screamed at Ellen the moment that the dog pooped in the sauce. That is not okay. It doesn't matter how much.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Law and Oracle. Fuck yeah!
The robot teens have wet dreams.
We're just rewriting sci-fi classics. I love it. I love it so much.
Proud of that joke.
I can tell. Oh, it can be funny.
I found on Twitter the writer for Where No Fan Has Gone Before, David A. Goodman. I contacted him. Oh. He wrote back.
Oh, yay!
me. Stop talking to me. Leave me alone. I've got scripts to write. So, did you contact someone internationally to point out a mistake that I've made for over 15 years? From
you might be right.
Look, your raging indicates that I was wrong. I know I'm wrong.
You're completely
But
wrong.
I believe. Look, this is hope. This is hope.
No, I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
David A. Goodman, verified on Twitter, responded thusly.
Sean, now why?
You are correct. Your friend is not.
Yes. Wait, I am correct or you are correct?
No, we're correct.
Talk
Oh, Sean, David, why?
Double D's? Do you like double D's in your face, in your ears? Get them in your ears! Get some D&D. Get some D&D in you. Double D in your face.
All of your life is just material for this podcast.
It really is. I never talk to anyone ever until the 1 hour a week.
You just bank it. Bank it all up.
Bank it all up, baby.
I can verify that. He doesn't come out of his room.
No, I don't.
He's like a Dracula kind of situation.
I haven't come out of many places.
Yeah.
There's a... Ooh, you never
spicy
know.
commentary.
Intrigue. Back, bitch.
Yeah, feet balls.
Hey.
Fake meatballs.
Don't call them that.
Really badly named. Are they called that?
We had.
God, there's a marketing issue.
Need a clap sync?
Do
we want to do a clap?
or something? Do you want to do a count pull? Yeah, okay. So
just pulls on this one.
Okay, just pulls. Okay, so we'll go. Okay, so we'll count from 6 maybe, so you can join in.
Oh my god.
Okay, like just in this rhythm. 6, 5, 4, 3. Okay, that was you're supposed to join in.
Right. Okay, you want to do this at the same time? I thought.
Well,
this
yeah.
was
So
like an alternating. Okay, fine. Okay.
So if
okay, on 3 down from 6.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
6, 5, 4. What the fuck is wrong?
Well, I felt good about it. I felt I was going to get it in time, so I just went for it. Okay, from 6 on 3.
On 6 on 3. So is that 9? So you say 1, 2, 3, and instead of saying 4, oh god, I'm not going to help. I'm not going to help.
Up to 3.
Just do what you were doing. Start from 6. I'll join you on 3. You just started from 6, so do that again, and I'll join you on 3.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was the worst.
That was
so synced up. It was perfect. Perfect. Oh, I can't breathe.
Yeah. This is all that on-air chemistry that we've been exuding all this time. It's
1, 2, 3, and then we count down from 6. Was that what you were trying to do before?
No.
Yes.
No.
What? No. Yes, it was.
No. Count down from 6 and join in on 3.
That makes no sense.
I'm just dying for the first episode with Higgins and Bond, so I can do the voice the whole time.
Oh, so you're aware of the voices thing.
What's the voices thing?
My
German persona is Gunther, who's a performance artist who makes electronic music.
Man, if people couldn't distinguish between our voices before, we needed German accents. The writer Dan Weber was the cartoonist for The Onion. The Onion. And was a writer for Buffy. For Buffy Vampire. Sorry, I'm losing it.